Hit it!
Hold on. Sunday afternoon, we're in the alley. Girls, boys, and bills at Wilma Gills will rally. Prognostications, hilarious jokes.
Big sack!
So, grab your gear, we're so glad you're here live in the alley, folks.
Go Bills!
I said gear instead of
You
beer.
said gear instead of
I said gear. Grab your beer, not your gear.
Well, you grab it all,
Grab
folks.
it all.
Grab it all.
Grab it
I
all
love
for
the big
those
sack
moments.
makes him laugh
Every time. Well, hey there, howdy there. Welcome to Live in the Alley. Playoff Edition 2.0. Josh is plowing snow right now, so hopefully he'll stop by. I don't know. You can actually tell that it's cool. You can see the flakes just whizzing by the camera. It is. There's like a foot out here of fresh white powder, because it is, of course, December 23rd and not January 23rd, where we really want the junk. And the game's not even in Buffalo like last week to have any cool weather anomaly. Kansas City forecast is like mid-30s?
Nice.
If not upper 30s.
Mid-30s.
38, 39, somewhere around there.
Oh, that's upper 30s. That's good. That's cool. After last week playing in 0-degree temperatures. For those who hadn't heard throughout the week about the Bills' success last Saturday night, you know, the first team in the modern era to score a touchdown in 7 straight possessions in a game and never face fourth down, kick a field goal, kick a punt, attempt any of those, that garbage. The longest third down for the Bills was 3rd and 4 all night long. Their longest play from scrimmage that they had was 1st and 20, and that's a play that they ended up scoring a touchdown to Emmanuel Sanders on. I mean, that was... What do you think, Josh? It was pretty good. Okay. He wouldn't say much anyway. So no, they go out guns a-blazing last week, and it pays off, especially against the number 2 defense in the NFL, which is pretty awesome. And as luck would have it, yesterday Cincinnati beats Tennessee. All the Bills need to do today is win, and they host the AFC Championship game next week. So that's really cool and exciting. Like that's neat. So I really hope they can do it. Really hope they can win the big game, right, Aaron?
No,
What? You don't want them to win the
Aaron.
big game?
I want them to win the big game.
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you say?
Want them to win the big game.
Oh, let's do
What do you
that.
think he said?
Yeah, wait a second. Do we have to start over? Let's got Sunday afternoon. Oh, okay. We're good. So, I mean, there's not a lot to touch on that. As far as what happened last week was freaking awesome. And it's something we might never see again as far as just...
It's never happened before.
No, it's never happened before. They were like stone cold assassins on offense. And defensively, I mean, Mac Jones wasn't terrible, but the Bills just made more plays at the beginning of the game and kind of put it right away. So that made it even cooler. But in any effect, as Jimmer's going to tell you, the Chiefs beat the Steelers, and we all know the Steelers should have been in the playoffs anyway with a tie and their rapey quarterback, but they made it. And they kicked the snot out of them. But, you know, this will be the 4th time in 2 years the Bills have played the Chiefs. And, you know, they've kind of had a roller coaster season, much like the Bills. At the start of the season was a little more interesting than maybe the Bills' season. But they made it. They started kicking butt again, and their defense improved vastly. So with more on that, we're going to go to Jives with Jimmer. Uh-oh. Now he's in focus.
Got me there?
Yeah.
All right.
It sags. We're good. You're a little crooked, but that's okay.
Hey, what else is new?
Oh!
Alrighty, Kansas City comes in today having won the AFC West 6 straight years, 8th playoff appearance in the last 9 years. Today's game, a rematch of the Week 5 game in Kansas City, won by Buffalo 38-20. In that game, the Bills had 434 yards of offense, and although Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes attempted a season-high 54 passes, he only had 1 completion that went for over 20 yards. Also, Kansas City's offense turned the ball over 4 times that game. Kansas City came into that game at 2-2. The loss dropped them to 2-3. Next week they won at Washington. Week 7 they lost at Tennessee, bringing the record to 3-4. At that point, the talk around the NFL was that Kansas City's time as an upper echelon team in the NFL was over.
They sucked.
They did.
Exactly. Steal a line from ESPN's Lee Corso, not so fast. The remainder of the regular season, Kansas City went on a 9-1 tear. Their only loss was at Cincinnati in Week 17, losing 34-31.
They didn't play too good against the Broncos, though, either in the last game of the year.
They didn't, but they still came through and won.
That's true.
Now, normally you think offense when you think Kansas City, but as you mentioned, turnaround mainly attributed to their defense. In the first 7 games of the season, Kansas City allowed an average of 29 points per game. Weeks 8 through 18, they allowed an average of 15.4. That was the best in the league for that 10-week time period. Now, last week, Kansas City hosted Pittsburgh in a wildcard game. First quarter was all defense. Pittsburgh had 14 plays of offense. They gained a grand total of 12 yards. On the other hand, Kansas City, who had 70 yards on punt returns, punt return yardage was greater than their offensive yardage in the first quarter, as they only had 62 yards.
Huh.
First points scored in the game were from the Steelers' defense, as defender T.J. Watt scooped up the botched handoff, ran it in for a touchdown, 7-0 Pittsburgh.
Sorry, the snow's getting in your way. Hang on a second.
Alrighty.
Much better. Keep going.
All right. T.J. Watt scores.
It's so crooked.
That was about all she wrote for Pittsburgh. As Patrick Mahomes took over from there, he proceeded to throw touchdown passes on 5 straight possessions,
Yeah.
spanning the second and third quarters. Total elapsed game time of those 5 possessions was 10 minutes and 31 seconds, the shortest time span for 5 touchdowns for one team in NFL history.
Ugh.
On their next offensive possession, tight end Travis Kelce also got in on the touchdown passes as he threw a touchdown pass to wide receiver Byron Pringle.
Is he much of a jerk as Gronkowski yet? Kelsey seems very smug.
He does, but he's not as
Annoying, maybe?
exactly.
I'm
Not
special.
as much as Kittle either.
I like, really?
Kittle's like in the middle.
Yeah. Kittle in the middle.
But in the game last week, Mahomes did throw for 404 yards. Pittsburgh added a couple of touchdowns late in the second half to make the final score 42-21 Kansas City. So here we are today in the divisional round of the playoffs. Buffalo and Kansas City have met 4 times previously in their playoff history. First one, January 1st, 1967, the AFL Championship game. Kansas City won that one 31-7. That put Kansas City in Super Bowl number 1, where Green Bay pretty much waxed them. Then in the 92 and 94 seasons, went during the Bills' glory years, both Buffalo victories.
Didn't they break Joe Montana's back?
I don't know about they necessarily crippled him or anything, but they did hurt him, and that was probably, I think, the last, was that the last game he played?
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
like that? Yeah. But I've seen him in commercials. He's walking without any assistance. So
Well, he uses Skechers. It's because he wears Skechers.
of course, that'll do it.
Fixes everything.
Yeah.
Then we had last year's AFC Championship game, which Kansas City won 38-24.
And that wasn't even really that close. Yeah. It could have been 38-12 was more like it.
Yeah, so if you look at it, Buffalo did have a 9-0 lead in the first quarter. Then the Chiefs ran out, outscored them by 38-15 to get our final margin. Doing the most damage to the Bills in that game. Usual suspects, tight end Travis Kelce, 13 receptions, 118 yards, 2 touchdowns, and wide receiver Tyreek Hill, who had 9 catches for 172 yards.
Dude.
Now, along with those 2, the Bills will have to be mindful of 2 other players that have come on and on their offense. Wide receiver Byron Pringle. He finished the year with 42 catches for 568 yards. Eye-popping stats? Not really, but keep in mind you're playing on the same team with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. And he also scored twice in last week's game versus Pittsburgh. And last week, with injuries to running backs Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Darrell Williams, third stringer Jerick McKinnon came on, and he had 61 yards rushing and 81 yards receiving. The Bills will also see some new faces on Kansas City's defense who did not play in the Week 5 game.
Oh, that's right.
You're going to have 3-time Pro Bowl player, defensive tackle Chris Jones will be back. Starting cornerback Chardavius Ward will be playing. Plus, midseason, Kansas City acquired defensive end Melvin Gordon from Pittsburgh. Got a pretty good deal. They traded a 6th-round pick for him, and Gordon is a 3-time Pro Bowler as well, so he's going to be new to their defense. Off-field distraction for Kansas City this week.
The vacuum cleaner?
Yes. The arrest of linebacker Willie Gay. Wednesday, he went to his baby mama's place. Argument ensued. Property damage further happened after that. Most notably, like you said, the vacuum cleaner. I guess a humidifier got damaged, a cell phone cover, a wall, and a door frame.
$1,000 worth of damage.
Under $1,000.
Oh, I'm
It
sorry.
was a lesser charge, so he spent 1 night in jail. He was released on Thursday. Head coach Andy Reid flat out said he's playing, and that's all I'm talking about that.
Wow. Just like none of the players testing positive for COVID in the last 2 weeks.
Exactly. Kind of throw that off to the side.
Yeah.
A couple notes on today's game. With Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes combining for 10 touchdowns last week, this will be the first time in NFL postseason history matching quarterbacks who both threw for 5 touchdowns in the previous week's playoff game. And if tight end Travis Kelce, if he gets over 100 yards receiving this week, he will have 5 straight postseason games as an underdog. The Bills are 6-2 against the spread and 5-3 outright. For Kansas City, they have covered their last 5 straight at home. They're 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 games against teams with a winning record. On an overall note, going into this weekend, the stats sounded a lot better yesterday. But over the past 4 years in the divisional round of playoffs, home teams were 13-3 straight up. But yesterday, both road teams won, so that brings that stat up to 13-5. That's all I got for Kansas City for now.
Cool. Well, Jimmer, I'm going to flip around here for a second, but I keep you there because I don't have name that alma mater or whatever that hubbub I like to do is.
All right.
But we're going to do weird and cool playoff facts. Brought to you by Credo Music, 811 Central Avenue, Junker, 366-4800 at Credo Music, We Know Music. Jimmer, last week Josh Allen had 5 touchdown passes and 4 incompletions. That is the 3rd time in the playoffs that's ever happened by a quarterback. Can you name the other 2 quarterbacks to do it, where they had more touchdowns than incompletions?
Kurt Warner?
He's one.
Wow. Bob Greasy?
No. More recent, not Tom Brady, but the other quarterback who was really good.
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning.
All right.
The other one, which I'm going to have to pull this out, last night's game between San Francisco and Green Bay featured a blocked field goal by Green Bay and a blocked punt, by San Fran and a blocked punt by San Fran. Can you guess, we'll start with a number, how many times that's ever happened in the playoffs before?
3 times.
You got it.
Wow.
Can you name the other 2?
No.
No clue? One of them actually has the Bills. The Bills and Oilers in the 88, I think it's the 88 divisional round.
Okay.
Yep. And the previous time before that was the 76 NFC Championship. The Rams and Vikings had a blocked field goal and a blocked punt in the same game by the same team. That like last night when that happened, it's like, oh, they blocked the field goal, and it's like, oh, crazy. And then all of a sudden they block that punt, and the ball goes a mile into the air.
And nobody knew where it was for about 4 seconds.
And that everybody's favorite commentator, Joe Buck, had a great call on it. He's just like, and the ball's in the air, and it comes down and it spins, and then the 49ers guy's like, oh shit, boom, touchdown. I mean, to tie the game with 4 minutes left, that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So some pretty cool playoff stats. Some playoffs, the teams shrink, the amount of games shrink, but to have weird things like that happen over smaller amount of games is always kind of neat to see.
Yes, it is.
Thank you, Jimmer.
Agreed. Hey, all right.
Alrighty. Since today's show is not on streaming live on Corroded Access and YouTube, it will be on this afternoon, so it'll play on a big loop. So if you check it out on YouTube, there you go. Please be sure to like and subscribe on the page. Get some followers going on YouTube, because Facebook the last couple weeks, you guys have been killing it. We've had over 1,600 views in the combined for the last 2 weeks shows, so that's a lot of fun. It makes us feel pretty good that we're here to give you stupid and silly facts and have Double A sit with the world's largest parachute pants across from me right now. Those are something. Oh. Well, speaking of Double A, Josh, it's time for Q&A with Dubala. You ready?
Yep. I thought I was. Hold on.
Nope.
Yeah.
Hey.
Okay. Hey, that's me.
Hey, get it up for Double A, everybody!
Hey,
All
what's
right.
going? What's going on?
Nothing. It's good to see you. How's work last night?
Oh, it's fantastic. I made it through it.
Okay, good. Here, here.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you want to bring Jim in. I've got reverse power rankings, and maybe if you guys want to debate them a little bit.
Sure, Jim. You can. There's no camera on us, but you're free to sit or do whatever you want to do. Jim.
sit.
All right. Jimmer, everybody! Hey!
All right. So the first reverse power ranking I want to do is openings for head coach. What is the best team? What is the worst team? So you want to start with like the worst team, and then we'll work back. So I'll give you all of them,
Okay, yeah.
and then we can kind of work our way through it.
Where you would want to go the least to start?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All right. So we've got Vikings, Raiders, Jaguars, Dolphins, Bears, Broncos, Giants, Texans. So start with the worst place that anybody would want to go.
You want to go start out?
I'd say either the Giants or the Texans.
I'll go with Texans.
Texans.
Yep.
Texans, bad team. Deshaun Watson didn't have all his legal troubles or anything. I'd rank them a lot higher.
Oh yeah.
But you don't know if he's going to be in jail
You're right.
or, dodges charges and suspended for half the season. The rest of their infrastructure is not good. They do have, I do believe, the second overall draft pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But aside from that,
I mean, you had a head coach that lasted 1 year.
And they knew it too. They only gave him
That's just-
guaranteed money for 1 year.
I mean, that
too.
just seems like a mess there.
I to the Giants point, I think I would rank the Giants a little bit higher only because the division that you'd be playing in. I think it would be an easier head start.
To
Like the Cowboys
get
have been
back
good,
into it.
but the Eagles aren't anything really special. Washington's not really anything special. I think you could get in there and maybe make some moves quick. I don't think that's this or
Also,
the bottom.
ex-Bills
Joe Shane.
is now the head guy, and the guy's pretty smart. He helped us build a team.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
you could see like Leslie Frazier going there. I
Yeah.
can see that.
Yeah.
All right, what do you think next? We'll say we'll go Texans Giants so
Yeah.
far.
Probably I go Minnesota.
I would rank Minnesota a little bit higher because Minnesota has been not an upper echelon team, but on the verge of wild card the past few years or so.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins puts up good numbers, but he can never really seem to get them over the hump.
Yeah.
They
And
stop
win
turning the ball
crucial
over.
game. Right,
Yeah.
win the crucial game.
I almost feel like he's a Stafford. He's like
Yeah.
he's good enough, but like I think he needs a better team around him to like take off.
Well, if you put the Vikings higher, who would you put? After the Texans. And
What about
Giants?
like the Jaguars?
I got the Jaguars a little higher actually.
I would put the Jags and like maybe the Bears at the same level.
Yeah.
Just for the fact that they both have high draft picks this year. They both drafted rookie quarterbacks. Put their hopes on them, build around them. They got that piece of the puzzle hopefully solved for those franchises. That's normally what you look for
Yeah.
when Rolling Stone is the quarterback.
I think Raiders and Broncos would be my top two.
Agreed.
Raiders and Broncos.
Okay. Well, who's? Why don't we just go with who do you think is the best place? Which is the best position right now?
I'd say the Broncos for me. I think you have a ton of weapons on offense. If you could figure out the quarterback, I know it's
That's the
easy.
hard part.
Right.
Because the Raiders at least have a quarterback.
Right. But I also think defensively, the Broncos, they have the best secondary in football. And they have Patrick Surtain as a rookie was just incredible. I think if you can figure out, like you said, yeah, the Raiders have that, but I don't know if I want to work for Mark Davis.
Yeah.
That's like, that's the catch, I
Yeah.
think.
Whereas I'd say I'd also list Denver up there, but I would go with the Raiders as the most attractive. So let's face it, they make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. With a guy like Carr, who kind of stumble over, but when he's good, he's damn good. So, yeah, I'm okay with that.
And I would also rank Miami
Oh, yeah.
just below those two.
Miami, that's the one.
I forgot about Miami.
But that's another place with an owner who you gotta get along with them or else you're out. Brian Flores.
I.e. Flores.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, you want to do tight ends that are in the playoffs?
Sure.
All right, you've got 6 left.
Yep.
We've got Kittle, Kelsey, Gronk, Knox, Uzuma, and Higbee.
Higbee, Uzuma, Knox. I was gonna go in reverse order of what you just did. I think I'd put Kittle number 1 though.
Kittle over Kelsey and Gronk.
Yes. I think he's just a better down the field playmaker, man. If he gets the ball in open space, he's gone.
This is kind of tough because they're all very good. If I have to rank them from the lowest,
Yeah.
the Cincinnati guy, Uzuma,
Yeah.
Yep.
and no slide on him. It's just that everybody else on your list is a good player.
Right. I think they're all good.
They're either Pro Bowlers or close to becoming Pro Bowlers.
Yeah, I'd go Uzuma, Higbee for
Higbee.
the Rams.
Yeah.
Once again, also a very good player.
Isn't that kind of wild? Every team has like a star tight end.
That's left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His
Because the 2 that were eliminated, because I had the full list because I thought we might have to do all 8 yesterday, but it's some guy named DeGuara for Green Bay because their tight end was hurt,
Yep.
and then Ferkshire for Tennessee.
Yeah.
So the 2 that got eliminated had the worst tight ends on the
easily
list.
worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
The remaining, I'd have to go. And once again, this is because of the quality of players there. I'd go Gronk,
Yeah,
and then I'd have to say Dawson Knox. I mean, he did lead the league tight end touchdown
Touchdowns.
receptions,
Yep.
but he hasn't been a proven playoff commodity.
this is his first year of
Right.
really proving
Being the man.
to be
Right.
an A1 tight end.
I would go Kelsey over there.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with either of those 2.
No.
All right, you want to do running backs left in the playoffs?
Yeah, can you name any?
Sure. I've got Allaire, Singletary, Mixon,
Ugh.
Sony Michel. I'm going to go with Mitchell for San Francisco. I'm not like
Elijah Mitchell,
yeah, they've got kind of like a running back by committee thing, and Fournette because he will be back.
Do you want to Sony Michel or Cam Akers now that he's healthy?
No, I
For the
think
Rams.
Michel's still.
Yeah, 'cause
Carrying the
Akers
load.
just came back
Last-
50
yeah.
or something like that.
I mean, I guess Akers would probably be the better running back, but I think Michel's going to get most of the carries, which is why I put him up there.
This one's tough.
Yeah.
because none of them are. They all have their good points, but none of them's really.
Well,
super
and once
superstar.
again, the 2 best got knocked out
Yeah.
in Aaron Jones and Henry.
Yeah. Oh,
So
gotcha.
so like the whole list changed when the 2 teams got knocked out.
Joe Mixon's automatically at the bottom.
That's what I knew you were gonna do that.
I got nothing on that one. Jimmer, if you don't think he belongs here, that's fine. I think I put Sony Michel towards the bottom of that
I
list.
would, yeah, I would
Yeah.
knock him down there. Wow. Michelle. Fournette had a great first 3 quarters of the regular season, but he's been hurt. I know he's going to be playing today.
Mm-hmm.
San Fran's run game.
They couldn't do anything last night and won
Yeah,
that
I would-
game. That's still beyond.
It's 2 weeks in a row.
I put Mitchell then,
Yeah.
lower tier.
I don't know about Allaire. Even when he's been healthy, he hasn't been.
He has,
like you said, all of them are kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put Allaire next.
Yeah.
He is supposed to play today. He was dinged up last week, didn't play. And just going by what he does on the football field,
Yes.
I'd rank Mixon up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I put Mixon ahead of Singletary as far as.
I'd almost put Singletary in the top 2 of that group. At
Yeah.
least.
Are we missing one?
I mean, if you go by what he's done the last 5 games, I agree.
Exactly.
If we're
Right.
talking about the whole season, you can't put him up that high.
Well,
But-
if you talk about the playoffs,
But
Singletary had 2
if you're talking
touchdowns
about
last week.
yeah, if you're talking about playoffs, it's definitely
Yeah.
he's definitely higher up there.
Yep.
So who do we have at the top of the list then?
Silence.
Was it Mixon then?
Well, you didn't put Fournette in there.
Yeah. Fournette was like in the.
Yeah, we said
Middle
he-
tier.
He was great first 3 quarters of the season.
So I probably Mixon at number 1.
Yeah.
Probably out of all of them, yeah.
Sure. Hate that guy.
Let's do quarterbacks. Mahomes, Brady, Allen, Burrow, Stafford, Garoppolo.
Jimmy G on the bottom.
Oh.
That one's easy.
Stafford next.
Ooh.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, who are you going to put in front of him?
Burrow.
I put Burrow ahead of him.
Burrow still threw for 300-something yards and got sacked 9 times
know,
last night, and they won
I
the
know.
game. That's ridiculous.
And then, just based on playoff performance, Allen,
Yep.
Mahomes,
Yep.
Brady.
Yeah.
Well, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. You guys nailed that one.
Well, Jimmer nailed it. I watched.
All right. So my last question: what is similar between scrambled eggs and the New England Patriots?
They're both out of the playoffs?
They've both been beaten.
Oh, all right. Hey.
Thank you.
That is
Thank you.
something. Jimmer, why don't you stay right there? You're going to stay alone. You're going to stay by yourself for quick picks. Jeez Louise. So, you want to do the quick pick song?
Quick picks.
We're going to do quick picks, but we're also going to talk about yesterday's games in case anybody missed them. No, we like the song. If you're going to be a music producer, you need to step up to the plate, buddy.
I mean, what are we paying you for?
That's right. What are we paying you for? Are we paying you?
Yes.
Oh. We're paying you for this then. Yeah, wait, if we're paying him and nobody else is
Budget,
getting anything?
music director.
Oh.
Yeah.
So my friend from Vegas that watched the show, my dad's friend Porky, he goes, what time's the bar opening, damn it?
All right. Wait, which one is it? It's this one.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
It's a long one.
Yay! All right. So yesterday's early game, I don't have does anybody remember what the final was? It was 1916? 1916 Cincinnati. I don't want to say somehow because both teams were good and bad in the game.
Yes.
And were you able to watch any of it, Aaron?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I did get to the watch the part where the entire restaurant stood up and cheered when they kicked the field goal.
That's the way
It was pretty cool.
That's the way it was at the bar because the whole time it's like they're gonna go down. And Ryan Tannehill, divisional round playoff, #1 seed, opens the game with an interception,
First play.
closes the game with an interception. His last pass was picked off. But the standout point, you think about it. The big thing coming into this game was the lines, the offensive defensive line for the Titans and for the Bengals in that battle. And the Titans clearly were the better team with the defensive line. But the Bengals just took out a team that sacked them 9 times and basically saved everybody else from that.
Yeah.
You know, from facing that defensive line, which was a terror. Burrow has no legs. He can't get out of a sack, and yet was still able to, when he needed to, find Jamar Chase, down the sideline to set up the game-winning field goal.
Plus, I really didn't like Tennessee's call. It was 6-0 Cincinnati. Tennessee drives down. Derrick Henry runs it in. 6-6. They line up for the extra point. Penalty against Cincinnati. Half the distance to the goal. Then they decide to go for 2.
Yep.
That really no advantage to that. So they would have been up 8-6 instead of maybe 7-6. Field goal by Cincinnati would have won the game either way.
Either way.
They got stuffed. On their final possession, the game was tied. Final possession, they would have made the extra point. They would have been up by 1.
Yeah.
And then, Cincinnati, even if they got the field goal, would have won. But if they would have missed the field goal, it would have gave Tennessee the victory. Whereas a missed field goal would have put them in overtime.
And they would have tried to run the ball out instead of throwing.
Exactly.
Which is not what Tennessee
Well,
is
that
good
and the
at.
other thing too, the second to last possession we said, Tannehill throws the pick, but the possession before that, the Titans are moving the ball down the field. They get 3rd and 1. They do an RPO with Tannehill. He keeps it and just gets smacked.
Yeah.
So now it's like, okay, now the next play on 4th down, they're going to hand it to Henry. And it was just a little off-tackle play to the right. It wasn't a real, Derrick Henry is back kind of move. And the Bengals just straight up stuffed them. And then, granted, they traded possessions again, but even there, they got the ball. That was on, the Cincinnati 40. They were moving the ball down there and then whiffed. And I think some of that, I don't want to say cowardice or just coaching decisions were definitely questionable for Vrabel a lot of the season, and it stood out in the biggest part yesterday for them and cost them the game at home. All they do was win, and then they host the AFC title game. The other game yesterday or last night, which I guess if that was a game that was on like week 6, you'd never tune it on.
Yeah.
Green Bay and San Francisco was just drab. Green Bay scores in the first possession of the game.
They came out like gangbusters.
Yep. They scored the first possession of the game. The next touchdown of the game wasn't scored until 4 minutes left on the block punt we were talking about. I mean, that was just
Their
Defensive struggle.
their coverage was odd.
who's that?
In covering of Adams, they were putting somebody over top of him, but allowing him to run like short ins, and so like they threw it to him 10 times, 11 times or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Got a lot of yards, but it was all underneath stuff.
Yep.
So once that you got that done with that first drive, the coverage then took away basically the entire offense, which is Adams.
And he had Lazard a couple times, but he forced it to
Adams instead.
And I don't know. Do you think Aaron Rodgers woke up today and was sure that Green Bay won the game? I mean,
Bigger
Joe
question.
Rogan said so.
Joe Rogan told Aaron Rodgers that they won, so they must be good. But
Bigger question. Is that Aaron Rodgers' last game in a Green Bay Packers
man,
uniform?
That's a coin flip, man.
I don't think so.
I thought he really pissed a lot of people off last year with pulling that,
Yeah.
run around. And then, what's he going to be able to do? Is he going to go to wherever he wants? Is he going to go to Pittsburgh, Denver? Maybe he should go home.
If they believe in love, he's no longer there.
Do they believe in
I don't-
love?
I set it up for you. You had to knock it down.
Janet Tonin is singing for us. Oh, by the way, R.I.P. Meatloaf. Did you know Todd Rundgren produced Meatloaf's Bat Out of Hell? I didn't.
That doesn't surprise me.
No, I thought it was pretty wild. So let's get to today's game after the snowplow goes by.
Really?
No.
So 3 o'clock, Rams coming off the win against an awful showing by Arizona on Monday night. That was just poopy. At Tampa Bay was home against the Eagles last week, and they kind of blew them out, but yet they kind of did, like, towards the end of the game,
Kept them
I don't
in
know if
it.
it was just his garbage time, but Brady ends up getting sacked 4 times up the middle.
Yeah.
And with the Rams pass rush up the middle, I think the game could be very, very interesting. I'm very into it.
Well, we got the Rams getting 2.5 points. Over and under is 48.5. This is a rematch from Week 3 when the Rams won 34-24 in LA. In that game, Rams quarterback Matt Stafford 331 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. The Rams since 2010 are 8-1 against the spread versus Tampa Bay. Whereas Tampa Bay on the season 7-1 against the spread in their past 8 home games. And Tampa Bay in their past 5 playoff games with Tom Brady, 4-1 against the spread. I'm going Rams. I'm upset.
Double A, what do you think?
I
Yeah.
think I think the Rams have the better team, but Tom Brady continues to prove himself to overcome lesser teams.
Right.
I think Tom pulls it out.
The thing about this game that I find very interesting is when Tampa Bay last year went on their run, they won the final
The last 7, I think.
last 7, and they get to the playoffs. The storyline about them was their defense and the speed of their linebackers.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing it. Like, it's not really showing up the way it did last year, which is kind of like balanced them out and really carried them to the Super
Well,
Bowl.
that D has some injuries as well.
Oh, big time. The whole team has injuries. But I just think I don't really trust Stafford that much, but I do trust his weapons. OBJ has been coming to play.
Yeah.
If Cam Akers can make a couple plays for him, Cooper Kupp is always going to be down the field. And I just think the way they harassed Kyler Murray last week.
Yeah.
Aaron Donald's the best player in football, maybe overall.
That D line is sick.
And Von
The
Miller's
whole
even
D line
making
is sick.
plays.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the difference. Is going to be whether Tampa Bay's line can control Aaron Donald, and I think they're going to be able to harass Brady enough. And I can't, never pick against Brady, but
That's why I'm not.
I think it's going to be a great game. I think
Yeah.
it's going to be good. I think the Rams end up winning, but it's going to be interesting for sure. And the stat line too. It's Brady every year for the last 8 years. Is this it?
Yep.
Well, we'll find out after, of course. So, There's another game this afternoon.
What?
Who's
Yeah.
that?
I get so excited. Sometimes my mouth moves faster than my brain. The Bills are playing at the Chiefs at 6:30 at Arrowhead. 5:30 Arrowhead time.
Okay.
If you guys are interested in that.
We're gonna watch it?
1 hour? Okay, good. We're gonna watch it, right?
All right, let's watch it.
So a rematch. Everybody who picked the seasons, this, that, and the other this year, a lot of people had this as their AFC title game. It may end up being the de facto AFC title game. Who knows? I don't know. Cincinnati is who they are, but with Cincinnati winning yesterday, the Bills, they win. They host the AFC title game. That's pretty damn cool in itself. And boy, it pays off to be the 3 seed, huh?
Yeah.
That's what a difference that could end up being.
Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome. What do you think, Double A? Jimmer, you got the numbers.
Oh,
what do you
hey,
think?
all right, I'll go. Buffalo's getting a point and a half, and over and under is 53 and a half. Resounding victory by the Bills last week against their arch nemesis, the Patriots.
The Shredder. Oh, never mind. It's Turtles.
Destroyed them.
Yeah.
Took them out of the stadium. Goodbye.
Took him out of the stadium.
Yeah.
They did.
Hey, did you see Belichick went into the Bills' locker room after the game for an extended period of time?
Apparently, he had a good conversation with Josh.
Yeah. That's pretty wild.
Weird. No other coach would be allowed to do that.
No, that's the other thing, too. Hey, come in.
The Bills can't afford to come out flat. Gotta make sure they play this game right from the start. No letdown from that big game. Their last 8 road playoff games, 0-8. Haven't won on the road since what, like 93, something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll trust you on that one.
Well, they took care of the Patriots last week. This game has all the makings of a game where last possession wins. Bills are on a roll. I mean, they had a little hiccup in the middle of the season. You could say the same thing about Kansas City, but Kansas City is more due, I think, for a little bit of a letdown. I'm going to say Buffalo 35-31.
Wow.
Really? We're doomed.
Well, I definitely think that that Buffalo has to score at least 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns gets them the game. If trading touchdowns for field goals, I think is the only way that they're going to be able to do this. No scores in the red zone. Make them kick field goals. I'm going to go 34-28.
That was the big thing in the AFC title game, was the Bills going down and not
It was the other way around.
Right.
Buffalo was kicking the field goals.
kicking the field goals and not scoring touchdowns after going up, like Jimmer said, that 9-0 lead.
Just need to flip the script.
I look at this a lot like, and I know it's been not since week 5. I know their defense has improved, but from like a game plan kind of idea, I look at this a lot way the Bills treated the second New England game to the third New England game. You obviously were the more physical team, and all the way back in week 5, the Bills, and that's when the offensive line holes had already started.
Yep.
You know, we were facing that early in the season, and the offensive line, granted, like you said, there's no Jones, there's no Melvin Ingram, but they've been great since that Tampa Bay game. The offensive line really has held their own, and Josh, when he needs to, has been getting the ball on time and accurately. I just think it's like you said, the Bills are rolling. I think in the way they got moving and coming off of last week, and they're loose, I'm gonna go 31-21 Bills. I just think they're rolling.
Yeah.
They're tough to stop, and the Bills 0 players on the injury report.
Yep. Let's keep it going.
0. So that's huge with all the receivers available, the offensive line, the defensive line. They're gonna win.
Let's do it.
Josh, what do you think? Josh says the Bills are gonna win.
74-3.
Yeah, something like that. I think he might give them a safety as well, 74-5.
There we go.
We'll speak for Josh. We know how he likes.
Last week he said 2-0.
Yeah, I think it was 2-0.
He was a little off on that one.
47-17 later.
Let's make it up for this week.
Scott, Jada, what do you guys think?
Huh.
Scott?
I think we'll be 35. I think we're going to score a lot. 35-24.
35-24 for Scott. Janet?
41. 27.
41-27.
The Bills.
The Bills.
Let's do it. Let's blow them out.
Steve also has the Bills 66, the Chiefs not as much. Thank you, everybody who's been watching the last couple weeks. Like I said, we've been having so much fun, and the weather is just getting ridiculous. But let's hope this is not the last time we do this.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So go team. Play us off, Scott.
Go Bills.
I'm not on camera. Where is it?
What are we paying for?
I lied. You didn't pay me. Well, you shoveled the walk.
That's right.